Laid back and kicking it, let's head back to the studio. Here's Rob.
Thanks for joining us for coffee today, everybody. We are having fun, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, we are. Sports update, and then we got some hot, spicy issues to tackle. It didn't seem possible that the MLS's back tournament could start any worse for Toronto FC after its first match was postponed twice due to coronavirus, but it did start worse. A late collapse with 10-man DC United scoring the tying goal in stoppage time proved different as Toronto had to settle for an unsatisfying 2-2 draw when the teams finally took the field Monday morning at ESPN's Wide World of Sports complex. Toronto hadn't lost a regular season game since last August, the 3rd, when it was beaten 2-0 by the New York Red Bulls. They've gone 5-0-8 since. Toronto's next Group C game is Thursday against the Montreal Impact, who lost their opener 1-0 to the New England Revolution last Thursday. The 3 group games count in the regular season standings, with Toronto now at 1-0-2, DC United 1-1-1. Seahawks tight end Greg Olsen told the Associated Press he has agreed to a contract with Fox Sports to become its number 2 NFL game analyst once he retires from football. He signed a 1-year, $6.9 million deal with Seattle this year. The 35-year-old Olsen will partner with Kevin Burkhardt in the booth as an analyst once the 13-year NFL veteran decides to call it quits. Meanwhile, the Detroit Lions have signed first-round pick Jeff Okudah. The Lions also announced Monday that they have signed second-round selection DeAndre Swift, along with fifth-round picks Quintez Cephas and Jason Huntley. Detroit drafted Okudah, a former OSU standout, with a 3rd overall pick, made him the highest drafted corner since Sean Springs in 1997. That's what they think of this guy.
All right.
And they have a need there at corner.
Yeah.
Who was the guy that went to the Eagles from the Lions? He's got the cool name.
Slay?
Yeah, Darius Slay.
Yeah.
So they had to replace him, and they got the 3rd overall pick to do it. This sports update for Wendell Clark's Classic Bar and Grill, corner of Idlewild and Circle Drive in Saskatoon. Check out their Instagram feed because it's Taco Tuesday. They got photos of it on their Instagram. See you at Wendell's. And for Ben Cahoon's G2G protein bars, I've purposely been laying off them so you guys can eat them.
Whoa.
A variety pack of all 7 flavors. You can get it for just $20. Order online now, g2gbars.ca. As Ben Cahoon told us, don't use the promo code. It's so cheap you don't need one. That's what he said.
Yeah.
Something like that. g2gbars.ca. g2gbars.ca. Order the whole variety pack. The reason being that I've laid off them actually is because, as I told you, I woke up Friday evening, I was laying on the couch watching something. Can't remember. Wife was out. I had cramps in my feet so bad I couldn't even stand up. I couldn't stand up.
Whoa.
Do you get cramps at all?
No.
So, I have periodically in my life, but they've been getting worse. So as I'm laying there, I Google what to do for muscle cramps. It says your diet is shy of magnesium, short of magnesium. So I Google foods with magnesium in them. And almonds and cashews came up, some of the first thing. Plus dark chocolate, plus lentils, chickpeas, all the things that are actually not, they're good.
Yeah. So you've been trying to incorporate
I've been eating all those things, and guess what? They went away. The cramps.
Interesting. That's good.
I know. So to get back on track here of all the things, I said it was going to get spicy.
Yeah.
Well, Jeff, the Stamps fan, said nobody's arguing here. If he wanted to argue, he would go to other places on Facebook or other social media forums. Paul Figler writing from the dubnetwork.ca, he says, we want to know, is Dupes applying for any of the Pats positions? Gosh knows they got $1 million. I'll let you answer. You can speak for yourself.
Right now, I am happy where I am.
The people want to know.
I'm happy with the team that I'm on. I'm really happy being part of this organization, and that's all I'll say at this time.
You're starting to sound like me.
Isn't that what they say when they're at a press conference? Are you leaving in free agency? Do you have any interest in that job? I'm happy with the team I'm on. I'm dedicated for this season and the path of success that we're on, and I'm looking forward to the future.
Clark just said to me in my earpiece, so then Dupes is definitely leaving.
Let the speculation begin.
I want to say this. Well, good for you, by the way. You always got to leave him guessing.
Exactly.
But we were talking about this in our morning meeting, and we've been talking about it for a year, and a lot of you folks don't understand it, but just think about and pay attention to what's been going on. We are our own franchise. We are our own team, i.e., we have now a television deal. We have our own merchandise line that's going well. We are doing our own sports trips, and we're going to be doing a hell of a lot more. once things open up. We are a franchise. We're running it like a franchise. In our meetings, we talk about what happens on the team and interaction amongst the players. We're running it like a franchise. Or if I may, the way franchises used to be run. That's what we're doing here. And I was coming up the stairs here this morning, and I was like bouncing up the stairs going, I can't wait to get in here. And I do believe this is exactly where I need to be at this time of my life, and I'll be happy to do it for 30 more years. Not even joking. And the national television bit is a nice bouquet on it. But nothing has changed for me.
Nothing.
From what we were doing before to what we're doing now. Nothing. And it was Darren's vision, not mine. This is nothing that I did. This was your idea, right?
Yeah.
So as far as the Pats go, who knows where that's going to go? But it's nice to be happy where you're at, not desperate to get out of where you're at.
Very nice.
And the other thing, by the way, and then I'll move on to actual sports things, but for you people that have been following me for years, I used to be tweeting about the Riders, Facebooking about the Riders. All of 24 hours was taken up with the Riders. I was promoting the hell out of the Riders. Now I'm not anymore. Look at my social media feeds. It's the 30-second highlight reel that Game Plus put together for us that I put on my social media. It's all about this show, this brand. This is the team. This is the franchise. From viewer Brett Thompson, he says, do you have your own bobbleheads? Not yet, but we talked about it. From our summer student, is he a student? Or
Yep.
what do you call him?
Yep.
He says, what's the market value on that 30-plus year deal, Rod? Well, let's see. Mahomes was at $45 million a year times 10 years. This is $45 million a year. Let me say that again. $45 million a year times 30 years, $1,350 million. It's $1.3 billion.
Yeah, but
Billion,
but
with a B.
But when you sign that, we're locking you into that $45 million. That doesn't grow with inflation. That's it.
How much of that is guaranteed?
We're not going
very little.
40,000.
Yeah, I wondered where the heck we were going to go here. So to get on to the serious stuff.
Yeah, the NBC comment. NBC.
Oh, NBC.
That's where we left it.
Well, no. But the CFL players are going back and forth. That's what
we left that going into the break, and then the CFL thing came up in the break.
Right.
Oh, boy.
We are all over the place. On the deal. I was alerted to this by a good friend of mine, Corey Gibbons. He lives in Minot. He's originally from Weyburn, went down to play for the Minot Americans, never left. And we've stayed in touch. Mm-hmm. So he was tweeting at Scott Moe and Justin Trudeau, basically saying, if these American broadcast workers, not necessarily broadcasters, but summer broadcast people from NBC are allowed to come into Canada, cross the border to work, can I come up and visit my 85-year-old mom in Regina because I haven't been able to for the last 4 months? He's tweeting at them openly. Makes sense. So I said, Gibby, where's this coming from? He goes, well, here's the link to the Steve Simmons story in the Toronto Sun. NBC's bringing broadcasters into Canada to broadcast the Stanley Cup playoffs on the world feed, and Canadian freelance broadcasters being left out of work. I know a lot of people are upset about it. My initial take reading the Steve Simmons article is that I've been screwed over by networks my whole life and teams. It all sucks. Sorry, guys. It's the way that it is. That's just my take. What's yours? Do you have one before I move on to the CFL and what the players are saying?
I do. First of all, are you crazy with comparing that to going and visiting your family? Because they're coming into the bubble just like the players are. So they're not special. You're not getting to just come in and go for dinner and go all out and about and whatever else. They're doing the hotel thing, the rink thing. They're in the bubble. They're locked down, the same as the players. But it's a money thing and it's a partnership thing. Who owns the NHL network? NHL and NBC together. I think the NBC owns about 15%. NHL owns the other 85%. So that's their official partner when it comes to broadcast for the league. So there's guarantees that they get certain opportunities and first right of refusal. That's all it is. If we're only going here for two places to do games, well, we have an agreement with NBC, and then it's the other network places next. So it does suck. It sucks for the freelancers. I get it. But the NBC But the NHL has that partnership with NBC, so that's what comes first. I would assume that's where it came from.
And the offshoot on that, by the way, Gibby doesn't really care about the broadcasters. He cares about the Americans being able to come into Canada at will because the politicians are looking the other way. And that was the Steve Simmons article. So this isn't to Gibby, but it's to anybody that if you don't understand yet in life that there's some rules for some people and other rules for others, if you're the people that put on social media, everything needs to be fair. Everybody needs to be treated equally. This isn't grade 3. It's not a reality in life. So I'm not interested in getting into the fight over who gets into the country and who isn't because there's different rules for everybody. Always has been and always will be. Sorry to tell you. Should I go more down that road or am I done on that?
If you want. I love it. I completely agree.
Get it.
I agree. And fair does not always mean equal.
That's not fair.
Fair does not always mean the same, right? Doesn't.
I just saw it on Twitter. It's from a guy I respect, but he goes, everybody needs to be treated equally. It's just not going to happen, man. We're not 10-year-old kids at summer camp. Enough's enough with this mentality. It's just not the way that it is. Get real about it. I feel like such a streetwalker when I say Rod's Rant brought to you by Bronco Plumbing and Heating. Mention Rod sent you and saved 10%. Like it meant that was all scripted, which, by the way, it wasn't. But in the time left here, before we bring in Gord Burnett of the Moose Jaw Warriors. So Tony Washington, friend of the show, Alouettes lineman, says this was his original tweet that has sparked quite a back and forth. Just what I thought. CFL waited till the last minute to give us a deadline to decide on a BS return to play scenario, and when we don't agree, it's our fault. For rookie Americans, they're offering 33% of a $64,000 deal. That's $21,000 before taxes. After taxes, $14,000. In Canada, after conversion to the United States, $9,000. And Almondo Sewell, the Eskimos' great defensive tackle, writes him back and goes, listen, no, realistically, you're playing for $3,000 American on a $64,000 deal that's cut to a third, prorated. Yeah, throw it up. If you have it, throw it up. Oh, no. Oh, yeah, don't. Clark said they're swearing in it, so we won't put it up. But that's the deal. So this is what's going around amongst the players. Now, having said all this, let's remember this. 10% of the people make 90% of the noise. Maybe there are guys that are willing to pay for it. Willing to play for that pay. I can't say for sure. It's going to go to a union vote, and I don't know what they'll even need to pass it. 80% of players? Farhan said on the weekend on TSN that 80% of the CFL players he's talked to want to play. So just by going that Tony Washington's upset with the deal doesn't mean they're all going to be upset with the deal, but it doesn't look good.
No, it doesn't. Doesn't look good. But that also comes back to the narrative that this favors the veterans. This favors guys who will come in and be ready to play. So even in that sense, financially, and when it comes to game plans and playbooks and all of the rest, it doesn't favor the American rookies. So that's who's going to get kind of the shaft of all of this. Those guys. The third, and you start breaking it down of a guy who's making $100,000 or $200,000.
John Ryan's a perfect example.
Not so bad.
Yeah.
But the American rookies are the guys who will get shafted.
We'll continue this a little later on in the show. Clark has informed me that Moose Jaw Warriors assistant coach Gord Burnett is ready. So we're going to take a break. Clark, you got to tell me if Gord's wearing a suit, because every time I see him, he's impeccably dressed. I want to ask him about that. Oh, a golf shirt. It's the first time I'll see Gord Burnett in a golf shirt, not a three-piecer. Guy's very well dressed. But it is summertime.
Oh, yeah.
Hockey talk when we come back, and then we'll round out on the CFL a little later on. It's the RP Show. You're watching across North America on Game Plus Network and watching and listening around the world on the Rod Pedersen Broadcasting Network.
You're watching Rod Pedersen On Demand. For more of The Rod Pedersen Show, visit rodpedersen.com or follow Rod Pedersen on social media.